Right, hello again YouTube. Welcome back to more Kerbal Space Program. Now, today's a big one. We are doing the finale of the dual Grand Tour mission that we've been running for the last few episodes. I need to shut down the radiators before I attack her off. Is that a pair? Yep, so we've been doing a mission to bring a tourist around all 5 of Jules' moons, and we've also been to add to that, landing base stations on each of them. Now, we only have one left to go. This is our ship that we've been using to do it. We've been saving this lander specifically for this mission. Long story short, but we can't retract the solar panels, and we need them for when we land, and we can't afford to break them, so it's going to have to be this lander that has them not deployed yet. Yes, it will lose them on the way back up. We're just going to have to deal with that best we can. So, we are around Laythe. I've done the transfer while we were away. It was pretty uniform? What do you call it? Pretty normal, but we had this weird thing where we couldn't... what's the best way to put this? I couldn't... It didn't want to encounter... I had to do the Hoffman transfer twice and then do a fine tune to actually get it. For the life of me, I just could not get it to actually encounter Laythe. But I think it was because our orbit was too close to it. But either way, we got it eventually. So we need to set up the lander for its landing. This one does not have any crew on board, so we're going to transfer the crew over from the other ship or the other lander. So close the inventory. We don't need anything out of there because there's nothing in there at the moment. Right. So. Transfer crew. To that module. Sometimes I trouble with the transfer crew, but it seems to be working at the moment, which is probably me just glitching it. Is it auto strut? I can auto strut while the ship's in flight? Really? Oh, we've got struts on board, but... Okay, that did work. It was just being weird. The ship is... The ship, I should mention. We've been storing the science we've been gathering over the thing of our trip. I'm going to mention this here because it's starting to get notable. First of all, the science we have on board this ship, in terms of the number of experiments, is getting kind of crazy. Close that for a sec. Look at that, 577 experiments, or experiment data. Problem, the game is also going to get really not so keen on the sheer amount of data we have stored inside there. It freezes for a little while. Every time I try to collect all the data now. Which is why when I gain the data around Laythe, because we haven't gone near that yet, I'm going to store it straight away in this ship, because I am really worried that if we try and do it again, it's going to start freaking out. We'll have to do one big one on the way back, but we should be okay. But yes, so, the next thing we need to do, we have transferred the crew. We need our surface stations. We are ready to go on that. We have those on board. So... we will need... oh, it's full of struts, I forgot. Oh, we have the graphics on the struts are broken. Oh, it's back now. That's weird. Yeah, we need to offload those. They were meant to be for bracing the lander in place. Which we did do, but it turned out not an issue. It doesn't accelerate hard enough for that to be really a problem. Now, we have a slightly different setup for this... base station compared to the others because we have this one. We have a weather analyzer, which we've not had on the previous ships, previous landings. We do need a goo monitor as well. Who's our scientist? Cedrin. Aren't we missing our scientist, or is it Bill? No, Bill's our engineer. Yeah, where's Dofrod? Dofrod, you should be aboard this mission. Oh, he is. He is, I just couldn't see him. Okay. Right. I believe the lander is kitted out and ready. It should have some fuel. Fuel balancer is behaving now. It doesn't seem to be freaking out and stopping working. I don't know why it's been doing that before, but right. Undock. Switch to it. The frame rate will improve once we're clear of the main ship. We've said this before. So, this lander is very slightly modified from the other Lion class lander. It has a probe core. It's capable of operating autonomously, if I can even say it. And it has additional fixed solar panels. Now, in theory, these shouldn't break passing through the atmosphere, but that is a theory. I do not know for certain that that will work as intended. We're going to pulse the engine just to make sure it is definitely working. And then this landing is going to be a little awkward, because we're going to have to land on parachutes, or we're intending to land on parachutes. And what we're going to do is manually aim for that island. We're going to do this maneuver somewhat manually, like some of the others we've been doing. And And we're basically going to tell it to overshoot a little bit, and then we'll deploy parachutes when we're getting towards it. And hopefully it'll balance out somewhere in the middle, and we'll make our landing. So we will want maneuver planner, but we don't need it to actually plan the maneuvers. Oh, that seems taking a while. Yeah, the game's been running for a long time at this point. I wouldn't be so surprised if it starts to freak out a bit. That's why I'm kind of wanting to wrap this mission up soon, because I don't think it's liking having one that's recurred for so long and has had so much happen in it. Right. We have to make sure we go. I believe we deliberately want to overshoot a little bit, but how much by is a little unclear, because I don't know how bad the atmospheric drag's going to be. I don't know if we want it maybe a bit. Probably if we do quite a sharp descent, that will probably help. So I'm going to guesstimate at that. I'm going to quick save here. And we're going to go in for our landing. I'm going to tilt that down a bit more so we have a larger amount. We basically want to cross as much land as possible. I think that's going to be about the mean or average best. But yes, because again, we're going to have to slightly manual this one. Now, we do want to seal the docking port here. It actually might matter because we are going to be entering the atmosphere this time, which is another thing I'm not so certain of. I don't know how this lander will take to it. I don't believe Lay's atmosphere is particularly thick. So I think we should be okay to just drop through it and not have to worry too much about overheating. But this is by far the most questionable landing of the whole mission. We basically don't know how this one's going to go. Potentially, we could dock... maybe... No, we can't. I was going to say we could maybe dock the front of the return module to it to steal its heat shield. But actually we can't do that because we'll need to be able to return to Kerbin. And ideally I'm hoping to drop us into the atmosphere with the whole ship and then detach the lander section on the re-entry. I think I will not worry so much about keeping the engines in space. It's certainly something we could do, but I think for the sake of clearing space junk, because anyone we've had a bit of a build-up, it might be best to just clear it. Although what? Particularly we've been drifting for a while. Yeah, notice how much the frame rate's sped up now that we're away from the main ship, although it's very close to load-in distance. I'm glad we're slowing down. It should go ahead. Yeah, 2.5 kilometers is where Kerbal loads the vehicle in for the sake of physics. So we're drifting away from that, and again, the frame rate is significantly upped. We've got the tourist this time. We do! Ready for the final part of your flight, Sidri, or whatever your name is? I'm trying to remember. This is the big one. Yeah, that maneuver has screwed up. Got to manually adjust that. We're to tilt up, and that will tilt our maneuver down a little bit. It's going in the direction I would like it to. Like I say, we're going to aim to overshoot. We may have to manually adjust on the way down, but in theory, we deploy drogue chutes, and that slows our landing gently. Okay, we're going to go for that. We do need the drogue chutes to be on a different stage, though, and we do need to make sure they're set to go off as high up as possible, so they ideally go off straight away. They are located on the top of the pod here. Altitude high as possible, please. We cannot afford to quick save. We have to be able to revert. Save the lander if this all goes wrong. Right. Point retrograde. It's not that. We're aiming... Oh, jeez. Okay, disable mono... Actually, no, we're okay to use monopropellant. I just remember we're not landing just yet. Oh, I think we're aiming for that island. I thought we were aiming for that one over there, but no, I think we're actually aiming... Oh, that's a crater lake. That's like on Kerbin. That looks like 2 crater lakes. It could be... That one could be a mountain range, but it looks like 2 craters from distant impacts, and then... Yes, again, as you might have noticed, I don't know if I said this, but Laythe has an ocean as well as an atmosphere. Should be quite a pleasant place. It's the sort of space beach of the Kerbal Space Program. Now, have I not gone far enough, or have I overshot? We're getting spicy. We are hitting some atmosphere. My word, look at that. What is that? Oh, you know what I bet that is? We never... That antenna. Oh, shoot. Oh, things are breaking. What did we lose? I think we lost the backup solar panels. That's not good. Still got some kind of solar panel. Have we got the radiators? Can't tell. You know what we didn't bring? We didn't bring the repair kits, and we absolutely should have. I totally forgot about those. Right. What's our prediction looking like? We're still going to hit it. As soon as we're over land, but not any sooner, I'm going to deploy the drogue chutes. Well, that's safe to deploy anyway. Or maybe just jam the engine on. We definitely... Oh, shoot. We're tumbling. We definitely lost something, and I don't know what it was. Well, we can see again. Oh. Oh, no. We lost the main solar panels. Oh, dear. Okay. Maybe I suppose technically we can still do what we normally do, but... As long as we are getting power when we land, I will consider it a case of they just have to very slowly mine. Oh, we are drifting way off course. Okay. Well, we're going to have to revert this, but what we can do is run a parachute test. So we need to aim further above it. And we are going to lose the solar panels by the look of it, which is going to be a problem. Let's just see quickly first how much our shoots will actually slow us down. Main shoots as well. Unless it turns out we can mine out of the ocean, but I don't believe we can. Yeah, as I was saying, I believe we have technically finished our mission. We actually don't have to land on Laythe. If we can't make it work, we can just ignore it, but I would really like to, so I'll probably revert and we'll give it another crack. But again, I would like to see how well our shoots work. What the heck has happened to the bottom half of our retrograde indicator? It's been eaten. Same as whatever's going on over here. Something weird going on there. Main shoots. Okay. We would be okay for a landing. A landing would be doable on the parachutes. They are slowing us down enough. We will probably have to assist it a little bit with the main engines, but that is not an issue. The issue is losing the solars, and I don't think there's a thing we can do to protect them. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do about that. Unless we had the engineer detach them and put them at the top of the craft. I don't think that would save them. However, are we just done on the contract anyway? I'm really torn. I would like to land on Laythe, but I would also like to get the mission done. So I'm like, what do I do? One thing, let's try this again, but put it way ahead. Try again with the current plan, but we'll advance it. Now again, as long as we're getting power, and it's like not nothing, I'm willing to accept that we could do the infinite electricity cheat. They would be there for a long time. They would maybe even have to manually help mine, but yeah, it's like they're getting electricity. They can charge the batteries over time to run the mining system. So I'm willing to accept that as a success. Maybe even like they did it. Maybe they even plug in parts of the base station to boost the power, the solar panels for the base station. But we have to make that landing for me to be able to count that. So I'm willing to narrative things a little bit with this game. Oh, it looks like TVA. Oh, I forgot to actually. What a you want to have to take your helmet off down there? Ooh, maybe that's something we could try. But we will quick save before we do that, just in case. Right, yeah, the planet's rotation. That's what's throwing off our maneuvers. Just make sure we get the maneuver to a point where it's a long way ahead of the island. It's a bit of a ways ahead at least. Do want it a bit closer than that though. We're going to be able to stop this fairly. We're going to need rather to be able to stop this fairly precisely. There we go. Yeah, actually decrease this. It's the right angle. Okay, we'll actually try that there. Could also try deploying a few extra things to maybe try and increase our friction with the air and slow us down faster. Which could potentially save them. Also shield them a little bit from the atmosphere. I don't think if the drill survive re-entry on its own, I don't think extending it's going to make much difference. Right, let's try it. Oh, and also let's set these up correctly again. There may be a bit of trial and error. This is a bit of an unusual landing for me, so... Oh, there was another trick we could do. I completely forgot. There is a... well, slightly cheesy, isn't it, maybe? Ooh, take an atmospheric analysis. Take that. There's a little bit of a trick you can do when you're re-entering and things are getting a bit too hot. Oh, more data to collect. Not EVA. Have you ever seen the wise words of one Anakin Skywalker? I believe he put it, I'll try spinning. That's a neat trick. Yes, stupid as it sounds, spinning during re-entry tends to keep the temperature down. I don't know why it works, but it does. I guess the idea is you're rotating away the hot spots, but yes. We shall try rotation. And I notice, at least so far, though we haven't hit the thick bit yet, that nothing has snapped. We are burning a little bit of monopropellant, but that's fine. We're going to refill anyway. I think we're going to be over the right spot this time. Arm the chutes to go off as soon as possible. You know, you get those like YouTube vids or ads or whatever that say like, hey, try this one simple trick for insert problem here. Why do I feel like this is one of those? Solar panels burning up on re-entry? Try spinning. It's one weird trick Jedi don't want you to know. Let's also try turning the engine up to max like it's supposed to be. Right. Wow, that was easy. Also, our craft is generating an AT field by the look of it. Jeez, what did we do? Oh, shoot. Engine to max, we're going to overshoot. Parachute pun, but also actual problem. We need to land on the island. Slow us down. Nothing, I think a little drag won't fix. Not the dressing sort. Alright. We do have to save some fuel. We cannot afford to use all of it because I think we're going to need some for landing. I think we have made it past that bit. I do not know how much of a slope we're about to land on because it's... I think we're going to land on the edge of an island there, which is not ideal. We have time to correct, but I don't know how much we can do with our fuel reserves. If we can sway ourselves in that general direction. RCS off. RCS isn't going to do anything at this point. Well, let's have our actual height above the island as well. But yeah, second time's the charm. I really don't know why spinning makes you so immune to atmospheric re-entry, but it does seem to work. Our solar panels just made it unscathed this time. Maybe it's just retaining the heat off, I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the way Kerbal generates or deals with heat. Atmospheric analysis, yeah, we'll keep that as well. Up for the moment. What we might do is landing guidance and allow it to use the land somewhere. Once the second chutes deploy and we get near the ground. There's a rock there. Tiny little rock. But yes, welcome everyone to Laythe. Not quite as sandy as I thought it was. Maybe it was an old texture. It is flatter than I think I thought it was going to be. That's good. We'll use the land somewhere. And we'll disable that because we know what Mechtiv's like for smashing stuff with auto warp. Oh, we can retract the drills. We don't need them as impromptu drag brakes anymore. Maybe that helped. Maybe the slight speed decrease. Maybe it was a better angle. I genuinely couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is this time we did not lose our solar panels, although we are very low on power. We didn't lose anything else except the aerial. We did lose the aerial still. This one is no longer fit for remote operation, at least not without going back to the mothership and getting some repairs. It's going to be a bit of a slope. I hope we're okay with that, because I don't want to be falling over. We're like right on the edge of a slightly awkward bit. Yeah, the engine kicking in. I knew we might have to do a slightly pad landing. I think we're going to be okay. That doesn't look too bad, actually. Laythe's gravity is not so modest as some of the other planets. You can see that was a little bit harder than some of our other landings, but we made it. It's doable. I don't really consider cheating to be anything that didn't actually require cheats. We did make that technically. So game let us get away with it. We can now finally use those solar panels that have been sat away in storage for ages. The chutes are spent, although our engineer could repair them. Right. Valentina, you have once more done it. You have done your most difficult landing yet, and probably the most difficult one we'll face in this entire thing. Batteries are refilling as we also extend the radiators, although I don't think we'll need them. I think Laythe is reasonably comfortable. Might be a bit chilly, but... Look at that. Right. The lost world of the Grand Tour. Not the lost world of our space program. There's still one to go for that. And we did never visit... we never did visit Moho or Eve manned, but... Either way. Setting foot on the most hospitable of all the worlds we've been to on the Grand Tour. This is, if anything, probably a much more sensible colony target than Eeloo. But with Eeloo, we can reliably pick our landing sites, which is something we can't do here. Right, plant flag. The land is sliding again, isn't it? That's a bit worrying. Right. Laythe landing site. Oh, thank you, Steam. Thank you, Steam. It's nice down here. Hitting the island at all was a bit iffy, but we got there. Next step. Home. Yeehaw. I don't know if Valentina is Texan, but we're going to give her the yeehaw anyway. That is definitely sliding. I need to get back on board, and strengthening the springs on the landing gear seems to have been quite good for stabilizing or stopping slide before, so we're going to do that. So this will be an extra long episode. We'll do the whole return trip in this one. So, let us finish things once and for all. Still sliding a little bit yet. I need to stop the slide because we might go over the edge of the island if we don't. Although I think we're sliding in the wrong direction for that, basically. But I'd rather not have it sliding around while we're trying to build the... Okay, I think we're okay. Right. We'd best do this quick. Bill. What component do you have on to hand, if any? None yet. Okay. Right. First of all, start with the control center. You've seen these before on the other planets, although there is one new one in the form of the weather control station. Weather control station? Wow, weather control station would be cool. No, weather... what is it called? Weather... I guess just weather station. Weather analysis station? I actually don't know. Weather report station? Oh, no, climb the... I appreciate that you like climbing, but it does look a little bit like a ladder, I'll admit, but you're meant to be climbing the ladder, not the vector. Which, my god, that's a nice model now, actually look at that up close. Like, they really did put some effort into that. There's probably a restock. I do have a lot of the near-tier mods on. If you guys hadn't realised at this point, but considering we're using flipping far future engines, but... Solar panel next. He's got to deploy both solar panels and the antenna, and then we got the scientist out to do the ground reports and whatnot. Finish things off. Ground reports and the science experiment stations. Power is first. There it goes. It's very noisy, these ground stations. But at least it makes some sense here that we'd be able to hear it. Considering there is actually an atmosphere on this one. Sounds like a Geiger counter running in there, but I wouldn't have thought that would be involved in that. That would be its own thing, wouldn't it? Oh. Is that solar panel okay? Oh, maybe I deployed it too close. That's weird. That hasn't gone off. I've never seen one just sit there like that. Let's try and move. We'll move it in a sec. We'll put the antenna down and we'll move it. I think something's wrong with it. Kind of nice if they had a little cable between each one, you know what I mean? Like, I know it'd be a pain, but... Oh. I see? Question mark? It's generating power. It's working now. I don't know what happened there, but... Bit of delayed... I guess, you know what I'm going to put that down to? I'm going to put that down to it having been sat in storage for the last 10 years or so. I can't remember exactly how long it's been, but it's been a long trip. Yeah, I think the scientist already got one of the parts, hasn't he? Yeah, Dofrod's already got one bit. I think we could improve the Kerbal's inventory. They don't need 50 to be able to carry 2 modules at once. Or some of them, at least. Dofrod's already carrying some of it. Dofrod will also do... Oh, I forgot to transfer his EVA science kit. Oh, no, he's lost his science set. He's going to be mad at me for that. I can't test the frozen snacks here. Or the golf. I don't know which it would be on this planet, actually. That's fine. It's fine. We shall do our job. Now, there is one thing you can do, and I will quick save, but I believe this still works. Station deploying. Okay, that didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Yeah. Yeah. Laythe's air is breathable. And I guess the environment is good enough to survive on. Whoop. I'm off guard a bit. I haven't put that back on for safety reasons, but yeah, you can actually survive here. Surface sample. Soil sample. I need to be quick as that land is sliding off. Soil sample contains traces of salt. You wonder if it was blown here, if this area was once underwater. Could be either, but I would imagine the other way around, because I don't see why it wouldn't still be underwater. I guess volcanoes, but it looks like a crater, so I'd imagine not. An EVA report. This place seems nice and comfortable. So comfortable you feel like taking your helmet off. You check the box in your report for looks breathable. Looks breathable. But yes, we have proven that already. It is breathable. I think that's a little hint like, hey, you can take your helmet off here and they won't die. But yes. Seismometer. Let's see if there's any seismic activity. I would imagine they get the occasional thing, but probably a lot less. I assume having an atmosphere alone would be enough to burn up a lot of asteroids and meteors. Yeah, maybe not asteroids, but meteors, certainly. Gotta be quick, we've got one more to grab. And then we are off. And we're going to again, we're going to lose those panels. I might even just let the radiators get snapped off as well. Just save weight. Because it's already the tightest for Delta V. I might literally just let some parts of the craft get broken. Because we're not keeping it at this point. The landers, both landers' days are numbered at this point. They're officially no longer needed once we make it back to the ship. We will have a quick look at this weather station, because we have not seen one of these yet. Ooh, it's tall. There's wind here, apparently. Nice. Right. And we are golden. We're done. The contract is already reporting that our last part is just to recover Sidron. So our contract on this planet is done. Our contract in this system is done. It's time to go home. Before their last trip, out to their new permanent home. Again, our end goal for the series is to go to Eeloo. And we will be setting up our big colony ship once this mission's done. That'll be our next part. We'll be deciding exactly what we want on it, what science research we're going to do, what parts we're going to take. There's going to be a lot. Now, I believe this is actually at a roughly proper orbit, so we can actually attempt a... No, we can't attempt a takeoff yet. I mean, we are going to try a takeoff from Rendezvous, but we have to do our traditional thing first. We have to deploy the drills, and we have to mine. Now, one thing I always say in these, with the last 4, the solar panels were not as powerful as we thought out here. We lost a lot more efficiency on them than we thought we would. And technically, they will run out of charge before we can finish mining. However, they are powerful enough to provide charge and charge the batteries. So on the grounds of, the only thing stopping us from mining here is the fact that we have to keep turning the drills off and then switching them back on again. I've decided in this case that it is okay to just turn on the infinite electricity cheat and just speed things up. We don't gain anything from speeding it up. We actually lose a little bit because the labs can't research as much in the same time. So, not that's really going to matter much anyway. So, yeah, I'm okay with just turning on infinite electricity because we know the solar panels can charge the batteries. And enabling the resource collection systems to do their thing. 0.2 ore here, so Laythe is another actually quite good source of ore. Whoa, what happened? Oh, the sun went down, I think, but its lighting's weird. I thought we'd sunk into the ground for a moment there. I thought the game was glitching. Right. Monopanel. Liquid fuel. Oxidizer. So our tanks are refilling. Right. Shut down our RSU systems. Inactive. Good. Retract our drills. Disable infinite electricity. Ditch the remaining ore. This is something I forgot to do at one point. We do not need to be trying to take off with tons of ore on board. We have 3k delta V. In theory, we are using quite a lot of this on takeoff, but we're also going to shed some weight because in theory, the atmosphere will automatically snap off our spare panels and things, and that is something we want, strange enough. Ooh, what science? Seismic scan. Gravity scan, okay. Now, what we'll probably do, rather than transferring all the science back into the main ship, we'll have our scientists get out, grab the data from both parts of the ship, and manually transfer those into the return module. And while we'll leave the scientists in the lab to research on the way home, and so while we travel, I'll be like transmitting data sort of regularly as we head back. The rest will all be moved to the return module, ready to go home. So, altitude 60 kilometers. Oh, quick save. Ship is targeted. Launch the rendezvous. Engage autopilot. Oh, and auto warp. 10 minutes time. We'll be in place to launch. It is evening. A quick saving. Say we are going to lose, in theory, the panels and the radiator on takeoff. This is intentional this time. Still have the smaller panels, because they're not broken, so we'll still have power. We'll still have the batteries. Maybe we won't. Maybe our ascent will be too slow, but I think we're going to lose them. Yeah, we are at full power. Again, our thruster weight is quite low. Not sure what we can't deploy, but we get that message occasionally. It seems to be a weird recurring bug. I don't think our rendezvous is going to work. It doesn't need to be very good at timing that, although I guess it's maybe the way we're doing it. But anyway. Strange enough, nothing has broken. Maybe we would have been. Maybe I'm worrying for nothing. Although, mind you, we did have to land with these retracted because they definitely would have snapped on the way in. And we saw that. They snapped even when they were retracted the first time. Oh, I really hope whatever happened to corrupt the footage with episode 47 doesn't happen here. Yeah, there they go. Shedding weight. It's fine. We don't need those. We knew that was going to happen. Actually improve our aerodynamics, if anything. Apoapsis is climbing worryingly slowly, if anything. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Is that because they're too big? Am I going to have to strip them off and... Is the aerodynamics next time? We should be okay. In theory, this shouldn't use so much fuel that we can't take off again, but... As long as we hit orbit, we can bring the other craft to this. It might be a pain, it might be slow, but we can do it. But I can't say I'm not a little worried now of how much fuel this is using to not get very far. Oh, is it because I'm not limiting to max Q? Am I using too much fuel? Oh, I'm a little worried about this. We're using more fuel than I thought we would. I think we're getting a lot of extra drag from having those panels out. I might even have to have the engineer break them deliberately before takeoff. I'd also maybe check the Delta V chart again if this doesn't work, but... 44, yeah. No good, okay. Our aerodynamics are not great on this craft anyway. It's the wrong shape, but... Yeah, okay. I'm going to hope, but I do mean hope, that it's just a case of we're using too much thrust to get through the atmosphere. We can maybe manually fiddle the thruster power on the way up and adjust it, so we're not using any more fuel than we have to while we're in the low thick part of the atmosphere. And also we'll have them deliberately smash the solar panels and things off. I could have sworn it was 27,000. I thought we were supposed to be okay with this. We'll launch the current inclination instead for efficiency. Oh, we don't have a jetpack. Oh shoot, what do we do? We don't have a jetpack. We can't fly off and break them. Where is it? Built. EV8. Construction mode. Can we... Oh no, we can't move them. Okay. What do we do? How do we... Plan 2 is we launch, and I keep a real close eye on this, and I reduce it so that our thrust-to-weight ratio just stays at 1.5, or 1.51 maybe, and we just burn as little fuel as we can on the way up, and hope that launching to the right thing helps. Let's try it. Quick save. Engage autopilot. Burn rate low. Every time it goes over 1.6, I'll drop it. The lower thrust we're using, the slower we'll burn. And of course, if we burn not much while we're getting through the thick part of the atmosphere, that'll save us some fuel. Because we are losing some to drag, I'm sure. Although if we don't accelerate to some extent, we don't lose the solar panels. Keep a tight eye on this, just to wait. Well, it's saving our panels, but that's not much good to us if we can't make orbit. Was I looking at the wrong planet? I could have swore we had enough fuel for this. And what the heck do we do if we don't? Do we just have to leave them behind? We can't leave them behind. We've got the tourist on board. We need him. What's happened? Is it just the atmosphere? Is it just we weren't prepared for how much extra fuel we'd need? Like, what's... Oh, shoot. Oh, that's not good. That's probably cooked it, because we've lost a lot of speed doing that. Okay, so maybe that isn't the best way to do it. Well, could always try a maximum power launch with the right inclination and see if that helps. Oh, we could also have the engineer repack the chutes. That would improve our drag, because it would make those the right shape again. Oh my god, what is happening? Okay, yeah, Mech Dev is definitely having some control issues as well. I might even do a manual launch, just go straight up. Just like, I know it's the wrong way to launch, but we might try it. Or just at least manually control it for a little bit and go straight up into around the atmosphere and then tell it to take over. But I will have him repack the chutes and adjust the aerodynamics. That should help a little bit. But, oh Christ, I think we have a problem here. We can try launch it to 50 kilometers. The atmosphere only actually starts at 50. So we could try also launch it to a lower altitude. Bill, yes, engineer. I believe this doesn't add any weight, but does improve efficiency. We're not still carrying rocks, are we? No, I think we are empty, aren't we? Yeah, we wouldn't have 3k Delta V if we weren't. Right. Let's just try up. Straight up. And get ourselves out of the clouds. Or out of the atmosphere, I should say. My SS. Surface. Up. Yeah, just point us up. Landing gear in. We're losing... RCS, boost us. Yeah, could also potentially burn all the monopropellant up, or most of it. That will lighten our load a bit, but if we use it now to accelerate us and just save about 200, that might help. We're not going to have the best circularization burn, but at least if we've used up... At least if we've got out of the cloud layer, that's something. Probably losing a lot to drag, I'm guessing. But I may just have to look into this, because maybe... I don't know if I feel like I wouldn't have read something that wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I have made mistakes on this mission. I feel like I wouldn't have been out by such a huge amount. I'm like, what did I miss that has put us out by this much? I'm sure we needed about the same amount for this landing that we did the other. Is it just the atmosphere? Is it just the lander's shape that it isn't aerodynamic? I mean, we know it's not great, but, like, is it that bad that it's having a really bad effect? Oh. Maximum power. For some reason, we're still partly limited. We have monopropellant. We can potentially make something of a burn just on monopropellant itself. You can do that. It will not be very powerful, but it is an option. And you can get out and push. I'm not entirely joking on that. You can actually get out and push. We're gaining altitude pretty well. We need to get it above 50,000. If we can circularize above 50,000, we're okay. Whether we could do that, I don't know, because we're not gaining as fast as I'd like. So we have the Kerbals jump out and jetpack themselves, and then we have to try and catch up with them in the lumbering beast that is the main ship. It's a crazy plan. The potential additional option is strutting the other lander to this one to increase our weight. Our thrust, rather. But I think we'd just end up with the same thrust to weight. We just had twice the weight and twice the ship. We might have to try just burning up some of the LCS. See if that makes a difference. We're nowhere near it. We're still not there. We're at 40k we managed there. And now we're tumbling. Oh, wait, I think we're supposed to be accelerating. Oh, it is burning those. It's just the thing. Right. Hang on a moment. I'm going to go back and I'm going to check the Delta V chart. One moment. And I'm going to revert to the land as well. Alright, so I have looked into it. I was not crazy. The DV chart says 2,900 to orbit at 60 kilometers. Now, that is not great, because that means it's probably drag. It probably is drag that is stopping us doing it. So this means I don't know if we have a way to do this without cheating. I really don't want to lose the mission here after all that. Because we planned correctly, in a sense. Like, I didn't realize... I maybe should have thought of the drag. But I hate the idea that we have to end the mission here. I'm really not feeling the idea of having to build a rescue ship to come all the way out here just to bring them back to the main ship. But I don't know that I have any other options. What I'm going to try is we're going to burn RCS. Nope. On time warp, we're going to burn as much as we can. I reckon we could maybe potentially dock with 100, maybe even nothing. We will see what saving that gives us. Another thing we could potentially try. Loading the ship partly up with rocks and refining them on the way up. I don't think that'll be anywhere near fast enough, so I'm probably not really even going to consider that one too hard. But it is maybe an option. But I'm first going to try and burn every bit of fuel we have that we don't need. Is there any other weight we could shed? Potentially. Are we carrying any other junk that we could leave behind? We can't leave Kerbals. I'm not going to leave Kerbals behind. They do have weight. I can't say that they don't have weight and that it wouldn't help, but it's like I say, I don't really want to cheat on something like this, but I hate the idea that we lose to this. It's not a flashy end, it's not interesting, it's just, oh, after all this time we get to the end of the mission and we just find we didn't have quite enough fuel and our drag was just slightly too bad and we just die. Because I hate that. I really hate that's how we do it, because then we lose everything. We lose the crew that are on the ground until we send a rescue mission, if we even do. We lose all the science they've gathered. We lose the tourists. We probably lose the contract if it does have a timer. Yes, we're fine for what we've done so far, but it's never going to last long enough to send a rescue mission. Even if we bring the tourists back, fine. We still probably lose on that. So let's first see how much fuel we save if we burn every bit of monopropellant we have. Apart from... No, let's just burn it all. We'll have the main ship dock with this craft. Instead of the other way around. Yeah, it'll be slow. It'll probably be a bit painful. But we'll try that first. So I'd really like to finish this without cheating. I don't mind the electricity thing. Like I say, it's just a time saver. Also going to launch to 52 kilometers on our current apoaps. We're definitely having atmosphere problems. We definitely do have a problem of the atmosphere is causing drag, and I'm pretty sure that's all it is. I'm pretty sure it's just that we can't get past that, but we'll see what we can do. So I suppose I can quick save. We can always mine more monopropellant, but right. Quick save. If I reactivate the engine, have we gained any significant amount of delta V? 150. It's not very much. It might get us above the atmosphere. It is more than we had. Let's give this a try. So I could drag, we will do that. Oh, you know what we totally could do? I've been saying about drag being a problem. At present, our solar panels are facing directly up. But the radiators we can just retract. Yes, we won't get the advantage of losing the weight from them, but the drag might be worse. It might be better for us to retract them entirely. So we'll do that as well. I'll get those out of the way. It's a shame we can't break them off. We don't have jetpacks to fly around it, and I'm not even sure that would work. We could try tipping the lander over and smashing them, but I've no idea if we'd be able to get the lander back up at that point. Roll it down a hill, maybe into a sea launch, I suppose. It's a bit extreme, but it's among the list of ideas we can try. If we had some explosives or the laser cutter, I guess we could try cutting the tanks off in flight, but I don't know what else there is we could do to shed weight off this thing. I'm not even sure we have any other ways to shed weight off this thing at this point. I think we're just going to have to try it. Are you at full power? Yes. It's only bought us a few more seconds shedding all that monopropellant, but it might be enough. Our powers combined and whatnot. Oh, that is potentially another option. We could also strip off the science modules that we don't need. We can't lose the docking port and we can't lose that, but we could potentially strip off little pieces like that. Maybe even these monopropellant tanks and thrusters if we can take them off. Like, it's a case of, like, we can only handle up to a certain weight in this gravity, but we might as well try that as well. I'd really like this mission to work, so we could try, maybe when they're empty, they're light enough to shed. But yeah, so that's something else we could try. We could try literally just stripping parts off the launcher to save weight. The ladders we could take off potentially. As long as we're on a higher bit when we detach them, the parachutes on the top at least could come off. There's solar panels, saving weight even more. We could... No, we've got to keep these solar panels, or at least we've got to keep at least one of them. But yes, well, that's another thing we could try. We could try stripping off some extra parts. See if that saves us more weight. If we can get out of the atmosphere, we could theoretically have every Kerbal jetpack as well. They can put themselves into orbit. We can theoretically come back and rescue them. It will be a pain, because we'll have to rescue every single one individually, and they will be out of fuel. Actually, I'm not even sure we can do that, because I think they won't have the fuel to circularize at that point. 1600. This might be working, though, to some extent. Take the probe core off. There's another part that could maybe come off. There's, again, just... That is one of our options we'll try next. We could just strip as many pieces off this lander as we can actually even take off. Thrusters, don't need them, you know. Tanks, if we can take them off, get rid of them. Drills and all tanks, I'd love to ditch those. We've even considered that in the past. Although we maybe actually need those because we need the batteries. I suppose you could fill those full of extra liquid fuel, could you? Starting to go fast. AT field's back. I know it's meant to be the re-entry effect, but it really does remind me of that with the sort of... I tell you what, it is a lot better. Oh, almost at orbital height. That's fine. We can lose those, whatever that was. We might be able to do this, depending on what our sectorization fuel cost is. We are burning a little bit of Delta V to keep ourselves at the right speed, but... We could potentially also strip more bits off once we're in space, if this doesn't work. We could have an engineer actively like start chucking bits off now that we're in zero gravity. And again, the other ship can come to meet us. If we have to, the main ship, it's going to be awkward doing a rendezvous, but the other ship can come and meet this lander. That's not a problem. Oh, hold on. No, better idea. The landers have docking ports. We have a spare lander that we're not going to need anymore. We could have the other lander come and rescue them. Oh, no, it's not going to make orbit. Okay. Yeah, so we might have to try the lightning trick as well before we even get to that point. Let's try that. I think this might still be salvageable. My God, it's going to be an effort, but yes. So, we'll have our engineer, Bill, get out, strip whatever parts he can take off of the rocket. Science experiments that we don't need anymore, parachutes, like everything we could take. We'll leave the ones on the strap-on tanks, or the side tanks, because they're reducing drag, but yeah, I'll have to take everything you can off that we can remove. Strip down the weight. We've burned all the fuel already. This is going to be an interesting mission, but we need to make about 400-500 extra Delta V. If we can manage that just by removing things, then we might stand a chance at this. Right, so engineering mode. Yes, it dropped it. Okay, excellent. What are these? Little solar panels? Don't need them. Oh, we can break the panels with this! He tripped the seismic sensor. Yes, those tanks are light enough. This might work. Actually, whoa, hang on. Leave that on. Board. Have we actually collected that science? Oh. Yes, we have. Okay. Just make sure we've definitely got all of them. Collect all. Okay, right. Back to EV8. That's good. I'm not sure why it chain reacted like that and broke all of the solar panels and things, but I'm not complaining. That's what we wanted. We'll leave these lower ones. If anything, those are the ones we should probably keep, but we'll leave the lower ones because they're a bit bigger. I think we need a little more than what we've got at the moment. Never did I think I'd be ripping pieces off my own rocket to make a mission viable. Weight and drag. We need to make them as advantageous as possible. We can't strip the ladder. I guess that's too much. Probe core. Don't need it. Antenna's broken anyway. It's useless. These tanks, they're going to be probably some of the most weight that's left. And we'll be starting the launch without those extra solar panels and whatnot. Bottom of the ladder. Don't even need that. You took us to many nice places, ladder, but we cannot bring you home. I think everything else is critical. We need to leave those on for aerodynamics to stop these wobbling about, because they will definitely screw us up for us if we don't. Oh boy, right. Have we saved a significant amount? 50 delta V. That's it. Or 100. That's fine. That's fine. We shed weight. We shed drag. That might be enough. So. Quick save. No going back. Let's go. Wait, full power? Full power. Let's go. Landing gear in immediately. Landing gear. Landing gear is no longer responding. I guess we have to deal with that. Did we break it? I have no idea. No, it's just not listening to us anymore. Until we do that, and then it's all on symmetry. Go, god dang figure. Right. In theory, we already had enough fuel. So we have to hope that the reduction in drag is enough to make that fuel count. We have no proper way to stabilize this craft anymore, though. Apart from torque. Which will count for a bit more now that we've shed some weight, but... see what we can do. I think we are accelerating notably faster. We have shed quite a lot of drag. We've shed off a lot of the side tanks. For the stuff up here. Like, I think we are a better profile now. I would shed these happily if we could. I know the batteries have been key, but we don't need them anymore. But I don't think we have any way to break them off, apart from maybe dropping some parts on them for a high altitude. Which we could also try. We could genuinely have him drop the fragments onto those side tanks to try and smash them off. That is not beyond our... something we would be desperate enough to try at this point. Especially if we had attached the struts first. How are we looking? 20,000, and we were down to 2k delta V. I think this is looking better. I don't know if it'll be enough, but I think it is looking better. Can't attach these annoyingly, so I guess these are just going to be causing drag, but they're also cylinders, so it shouldn't be too bad. That's increasing. Starting to accelerate. We definitely hit some moments of really high drag, so... oh, man. This is nerve-wracking. I've never had to do this before for a mission, ever. But if this works, the other lander... we do have, I believe, a second pilot. We will have the other lander come and rescue them. As in, it will come over and it'll just pick everything up. I won't even bother trying to refuel this one. We'll just have it transfer the crew over and everything. I think it's worked. I think that was enough. Oh. There was a way to do it. I really, really didn't want to cheat. I think it's worked. We could even potentially try having this do some of the rendezvous. It may be down on parts, but it's got a lot more fuel this time. I don't know if 500 delta V will be enough, but we can have a little look at least. If this can still make it back to the space station, it's worth a shot. Oh my god. Okay, please work. Close to the edge of atmosphere. We are slowing down much, much less. It's not burning anything like as much fuel this time. I couldn't take the ladders off. I just realised that was interesting. I couldn't take the ladders off it. Yes, it's going to make orbit. It's going to make it. I won't quick save until we're actually in orbit. But I think we're going to make it this time. Oh, that is relief. So it was just drag. We had planned about the right amount of fuel. It was just the drag was worse than I expected. We should have built the landers bigger. Even though that would have had a quite detrimental effect to our total delta V. So yes, the other lander, though, will have to come rescue it. We're going to have to send the rescue mission. I don't know how much fuel the other lander has, and we cannot refuel it. So that's going to be interesting. What we can do is potentially sacrifice some of the fuel in the lander module, because we do have some aboard that. So we'll give that a try and see what we can do. But yeah, what I'll probably do is pause recording and then go fetch the switch the other craft. Got to sort something quickly here as well, but yes, we made it. We're in orbit. Right.